We're having conversation over coffee with the world's happiest franchisee. Yes, you heard it correctly. She's here, Janna Dutton, all the way from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I'm already thinking, how many franchisees are out there in the world, not just Canada and the United States, but you're the world's happiest franchisee. Janna, people I know who are watching will want to know, well, how did that happen?
You know, it all comes from a decision, and a decision that you want to be the happiest. And when you start to filter and ask yourself what the world's happiest franchisee would do, then that's the way you approach the world, and it just happens.
Now, for people just joining us and letting this kind of percolate,
Good
okay,
line.
because
Yeah.
you do have 4 Tim Horton franchises in Saskatoon.
Yes.
Right. What has happened since you made this decision? You called it a decision because when you told me, I was just stunned at what I heard. What's happened to you?
Well, as you start to filter your life through that lens of being the world's happiest, what's happened is I have truly become the world's happiest franchisee, just miraculously through that. And the world starts, the more you give the world in that vein, the more you receive in that vein, right? So when you approach the world as, I'm gonna fix this problem from that position, you look at things differently and you approach them differently, and then people come to you with different solutions.
So much of what your whole journey has been about. You got your first Tim Horton franchise in 2001. You've expanded your business since that time. You have well over 100 employees. What I find most impressive is your story, where you came from. When people say very humble beginnings, yours might have been some of the most humble I've ever heard, but that helps you relate to the people who work for you now.
Yeah, it does. You know, I came full circle, right? So like, kind of like my daughter pointed out, it's like a donut. My life very much started out, I had no food, and my mom worked for a donut outfit, and they would collect the garbage that was thrown away at the end of the night, and that's what we ate. So it was very humble beginnings, very hungry beginnings, but also very hungry to provide for my family in a way that was different, and to break that cycle of poverty. It was hard, and it helps me to understand when it's hard for the people in my world now.
And you've had a lot of fantastic things happen to you.
Oh, it's miraculous, right? Even our introduction, right? Was miraculous in a lot of ways.
It was serendipitous, it was all those things.
All those things. And, you know, as I became the world's happiest franchisee and was putting things out into the social media world and doing things in a different way, even my good for the brand, you know, for the Tim Hortons brand, I became better and better and better for the brand, even from their perspective, right? Because I was acting now.
Right.
So it was really good.
And you've got now, without disclosing too many details, I mean, there's some great business results, yes, that's a natural byproduct. But some of the mucky mucks from Tim Hortons are now reaching out to you, looking for your insights.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I had an opportunity to go to Toronto and have a conversation over coffee with our Tim Hortons president, and we had a lot of fun, and we got to just be human with each other, right? And experience coffee, you know, kind of the way it was originally intended, you know, a conversation between human beings, kind of like you and I met.
Well, and that's another part of what you're doing, right, Jan? It's conversations over coffee. So you're making a very deliberate effort to spread the happiness just through getting together and talking to people.
Yeah, and it's been, it was an exercise for me to become more comfortable in talking to people. And so I've learned a lot out of it, and I have made friendships and done business dealings and connected people, and a group of us came together about a week and a half ago, and as people were leaving, it was all people that I had conversations with. And as I looked around the table, I get goosebumps even just thinking about it. The people that were sitting there never would have been in that room together. It was such a motley crew of individuals. It's so true. It was just, nobody would have been there. But at the end of the night, they were all connecting, getting each other's information. Hey, I need an electrician. Hey, I need to go to the spa. And everybody was connecting in such a unique way. It all happened over coffee.
What I really like about the world's happiest franchisee, when you said to me, this is your filter for decision making, it seems as though that choice, that decision takes victimhood off the table. Is that fair to say?
Very much so. When you look at everything, what can I learn from this instead of, why did this happen to me? You see the lessons in everything, and then when you're looking back at things after, you're like, oh, that's why that might have happened, and it worked out well, and obviously, me being hungry, I could have lived as a victim my entire life. And instead, everything that happened, I accepted it as a lesson, and I just kept moving forward and not backwards.
What does the future hold?
Oh, I don't know.
I know
so
that you've got
much.
many projects. There's books coming. There's maybe a children's book. But what do you see ahead as you continue to have conversations over coffee?
Well, I'd like to share my story. Maybe create some inspiration for people that maybe don't see a way out of where they're at, and create that hope and maybe some perspective taking that could happen if they can look at things a little bit differently.
Janna Dutton, thanks so much for joining us and doing this. Janna Dutton,
It's a gift.
the world's happiest franchisee, and thank you for watching here on Leaders and Legends, where you never know who you're going to meet or what you'll discover.